Hey, good morning. How are you? How is everybody? Isn't it a beautiful day? Well, it certainly is here. The sun is shining and it looks absolutely awesome. So, what have we got for today? So, today is, I've called this Help, My Book is in a Mess, and I'm hoping that you can read what is up here. So, I've got three things that typically happens when people come to talk to me. So if you don't know who I am, my name's Jackie Malpass, aka the Word Alchemist, turning your words into gold. And I help people get stuff out of here and help them to turn them into books, which are the one thing, and then from the book we can turn them into many things, so coaching, consultancy, retreats, online courses and stuff like that. So for me, it's a complete and utter honour to work with anybody on their book where they're getting really connected to themselves and sharing an important message for the world. But sometimes, with the best will in the world, you get in a mess. So the first thing is you've got too many ideas in your head. So someone says to you, "You're amazing. You've got this brilliant book. You've got to write a book. You've got to write a book." And you go, "Yeah, you know what? I quite fancy writing a book." And then you go, well, I could write a book on this, and I could write a book on this, and I could write a book on that, and I could have this, and I could have that. And you're going to end up with something that is like just too enormous that you're never going to be able to do anything with it. So your head is all scrambled up, and you don't know what you're doing, and in the end you don't do anything. So that's the first thing. You've got too many ideas in your head, and you can't really work out which one. And you've started, number two is you started without structure. So what do I mean by that? So I'll tell you a little story. So this is a fiction book that I started writing last year. So I have this book that I've done almost 30,000 words of now. But what happened was last year, NaNoWriMo came around. And for those of you that don't know, it's an annual month where people come together and they just blitz writing every single day. So I put together a rough outline, really not much structure, but what had been happening is I've been going out for walks with the dogs, and as I've been going out walking I've been thinking, oh, this part of the story, and oh, that part of the story. And the book's called Puppy with No Name, and it's the story about my little angel, who's not so little anymore, who I found in the Rambler. So I found her as a puppy, and in my imagination I had a story of what happened, how she got abandoned, all the animals that she met and all sorts of stuff. So I just wrote this really rough thing. So during November, I sat for probably about 17 or 18 days and I wrote every single day. And then I got to this point where I went, well, I don't actually know what to write next. So what am I going to do? And do you know what I did? I did nothing. I just left it. It became just a pile of words that meant nothing to me because I started without structure. I didn't have a plan, I didn't have an outline, and okay, that was a fiction book, but the same thing applies. And what I did there was I went and bought a little piece of software called Snowflake, and I sat and I outlined the entire story, and as soon as I had an outline it was just much easier to write. So I'm currently in the process of editing that book. I kind of do things on whims, so I like to have lots of projects on the go and I can dip in. But without that structure, I had nada, absolutely nothing. So what often happens is you've chosen the idea and you think that you can just write. So you write maybe a couple of thousand words a day and it seems to be okay. And then you just get to a point where it doesn't flow. It makes no sense. You don't know what journey you're taking your reader on. In fact, you don't even probably know who your ideal reader is. You don't know what the gap in the market is, so you've done no competitor research. You don't know what questions you're answering. All you've done is write. And you've written yourself into a mess. But that's okay, so we can build structure back in. So you started without structure. And the third one is you don't actually know why you're writing a book. So you've told yourself you should. I hate the should word. Someone else has told you you should. You've had this idea that everyone else is writing a book, so you ought to write a book. And that's not the best reason to do it. And if you don't know your why, and you're not compelled, you're not inspired, and you're not motivated, and you haven't got structure, guess what? You ain't going to write. So you're not going to go anywhere with this book. So we've got too many ideas, started without a structure, and you don't know why. It seemed like a good idea at the time. That's okay, that's kind of normal. I do the same thing. I have a zillion and one thing books that I've started that seem like a good idea, but actually they weren't. So for the first one, too many ideas in your head, I've got a lovely visualization and something called a My Book exercise. And the idea of those two things is to help you find the right book for right now. So we need the right book for right now. And just to say that actually it doesn't need to be a book, it could be a course or a project that you've got yourself into a pickle with. The same thing applies, is you have to have the right one for right now. So the visualization and the My Book exercise, you know, move the word book, and it could be course, project, whatever. And then we need to map things out. We need a roadmap and we need a plan. So we need to know how we're going to get from A to Z. We need to see that vision for the future. So your next important step is to have this plan. So we need to have, like I said, we need a roadmap. We need to map it all out. Then you need outline and chapter structure. So the outline is your journey. And hi Barty, hello, haven't seen you for ages. So your outline is your journey. So you're taking your reader on a journey to some kind of outcome. And the outcome is what is the result you want your reader to have from reading your book? What's the outcome? What are they going to get from it? So by knowing that, you can create this outline. So you're chunking your book down into chapters, and then you're chunking it down into sections, so it makes it easier to write, because what we want is something that's a pleasure. And a chapter framework. So chapter frameworks come in all kinds of different flavours, but a very simple one is, what is this chapter about? So you've obviously got your chapter title. What's the chapter about? Why should my reader be reading this? So what's the why? The how might be case studies, exercises, whatever. And then you've got your kind of your what if. What are the benefits? You know, what if the reader did these things? What might they get? So that's a very, very simple chapter framework, ending with something, you know, like questions for exploration, that kind of thing. So at this, all that is making things into little baby chunks. And when you've got a little baby chunk, it's dead easy to do. And then obviously you have to make the time to write. But if you know that you've only got to do like 3 or 4 chunks a day, it's easy. It makes it so much easier. So in terms of the why thing, once we know that we've got the right book, we've mapped it out, we've got the outline and the chapter framework, the great thing about having a book is a one thing. This is a one thing. This then helps you to create coaching and consultancy. You can run retreats, workshops, you can do talks around it, and you can create online courses. And while you're creating this book, you can be planning those other things out. That's a product roadmap. So you have a roadmap that says, well, I'll do the book and I'll structure it. And while I'm structuring it with this outline, that could also be part of a course outline. So I've got my structure. So we can turn our book, our one thing, into many things. So your why is that this book is going to give you lots and lots and lots of products. Lots of products and lots of services, lots of different ways to make money, to connect, to share your message. So you're doing it to build your personal brand. You might also be writing your book because you need to heal. You may never publish, but it may be a healing process that you write it now, and maybe in a year or so actually you come back and you make it into your one thing and create lots of other things. But you know what? Your other why could be you want to write a book just because you want to write a book. Why shouldn't you? So you need to know your why. So hopefully this was useful to you. So this is all about help my book is in a mess. So what I would invite you to do is, up there somewhere is a sign up, but I'll also stick it down there so you'll know where it is. With sign up you get a book plan, but you also get the opportunity to be able to buy a mini course which is called Write the Right Book Right Now. and that's normally $47. And when you sign up for the plan, there will be a little coupon code there, and you can get it for $27. So if you've enjoyed this and you are interested in writing a book and you're in a bit of a mess, then please do connect with me. My website is www.jackie.malpass.com, and you can book in for a session and we can have a little chat, help you find the right book and get you back on track writing the right book for right now. Have a fabulous day.